Hi, I'm executive producer Simon Fox. Thanks for stopping by the Daily's newsroom for another episode of The Double Shot. You know, it's 1 week away from spring break, and most students are either lost in their books or losing their minds. But we're here to bring you the ongoing story that is UW. In our final episode of the quarter, we're going to find out which club at UW is the most decadent.
These students are the Hammockers of UW. As its name suggests, this is a group of students whose main activity is literally hanging out.
In other news, is it a good idea to room with your best friend? I don't know. Let's find out right after we watch this stupid coffee cup thing for the last time ever.
Ooh, what is that? Try to be nice.
Yeah.
I'll see you there.
Okay.
Before coming to UW, some of us asked ourselves this one question. Is it a good idea to room with your best friend? On the one hand, it's a chance to build that friendship. But on the other hand, you could wreck the best friendship you've ever had. Let's see what UW students think. This is Lindsay Fitzgerald, and this is Rachel Beals. The two are the best of friends. They're friends, surrounded by friends, surrounded by more friends. The two BFFs live together in a sorority house. Besides a room, they share a mirror, a similar wardrobe, and habits.
For me and Lindsay, we're a lot alike, and I've just noticed that, being a lot alike, we find things similar that are funny, and we're both really messy people, and so it doesn't bug each other when we're messy. It's not like I'm really organized, so I'm like, Lindsay, you need to organize all of your stuff. It's just, normal.
We get along, really well, and I think we've actually gotten, way closer, because we're roommates. We were best friends before, but, we weren't, as close as we are this quarter, for sure.
The pair do just about everything together, but they never seem to tire of one another.
Let's go. Hello? Hi!
Don't look at me.
Box of two.
The rest of the student body, on the other hand, had a lot of different things to say about the subject.
No, a good friend isn't a good roommate because you typically have different interests and cleanliness styles.
I don't think it's a good idea because having a best friend and seeing them every day is different from living with them, where you sleep in the same area as them, you eat, you go to the bathroom in the same place as them, and you can get tired of them.
I think it's a good idea to have your best friend as your roommate because they know you better than anybody else, and they know what makes you tick, what makes you mad.
It really depends on how long you've known the person. For me, one of my best friends is my brother. I've lived with him large chunk of my life, so it's him and I, we've butted heads quite a bit, and large amount of times we couldn't be near each other, but at the same time we have we're really close.
I don't think it's a problem. I live with my best friend and I'm fine, so. You and your best friend are you have your relationship and whatever, and then living with people can bring out the worst in people.
It is a good idea because I would love to room with my best friend. She's the funniest person I know, and I think it would be a great time.
I would say it's probably not the best idea because I've heard of many instances where best friends have gone to college together and lived together and they're not best friends anymore.
Residential education programmer Eric Chen lives in Alder Hall. Since he does work closely with RAs at many of the dorms, he knows that rooming with a best friend does not always work out. In fact, he recalls two girls he knew that were high school friends. After rooming together, things eventually got very unfriendly.
It even escalated toward a physical fight. After the RA couldn't really do much intervening, they kind of got really mad at each other, and then there was a pushing and a potential scratch. And it was to that point where that was kind of the last straw. Girl A moved out within a week right after that.
Whether you live in a sorority or you live in the dorms, it's safe to say that it is best to choose a roommate based on compatibility. So, is it a good idea to room with your best friend? That's up to you.
Hey guys, my name is Jakob Ross, and today's film focus is Chappie, the latest film from South African director Neil Blomkamp, which simultaneously chastises police militarization and introduces a cute little robot named Chappie.
The deployment of the planet's first robotic police units became the focus of the world in 2016.
Drop your weapons, you're under arrest.
The Scout's creator, Dion Wilson, sees a rich future.
What interests me is a machine that can think and feel.
Chappie is a film that takes place in the year 2016 in Johannesburg, South Africa, where a programmer has invented a scout robot that the police force buys to curb their crime rate. This programmer, whose name is Dion, and he's played by actor Dev Patel, he's not looking to make a bunch of robot cops. Against the advice of his advisor, played by the always brilliant Sigourney Weaver, Dion basically codes consciousness, and he puts it onto a thumb drive, and he plans on experimenting with a broken scout robot that he's invented. There's a group of urban gangsters that live in Johannesburg, played by the fantastic South African hip-hop group Die Antwoord, which includes Ninja and Yolandi Vissa. They plan on hijacking this robot, who they do not know is sentient, and using him for their own evil intentions. Anyway, without giving too much of the plot away, Chappie is a movie that I really, really enjoyed. I'm a sucker for Die Antwoord. I love all their music videos, and their tracks are pretty fantastic. I'm not really super into Neil Blomkamp's films, but Chappie really is sort of an evolution, it's sort of a step in the right direction anyway for Blomkamp's career. This film really is a comedy. You know, it's not like District 9 where it's an allegory for apartheid, and it's not like Elysium where he's saying tisk tisk to classism. It's different. I think it's a different thing for Blomkamp, and I'm honestly very excited about the direction he took. Because there's a lot of comedy that can be found in teaching a robot to behave like a human. Especially when the person who's teaching the robot is Ninja from Die Antwoord, who teaches the robot how to trash talk, he teaches him how to do a gangster walk, he teaches him how to hold a gun. I mean, it's got a lot of hilarity in it, it's got a lot of emotion in it, and it never gets boring, really. Aesthetically, this film doesn't really deviate from Blomkamp's traditional style. You've got single camera shooting, as well as some of the documentary style footage that comes at the beginning. Your cool CGI, the juxtaposition of the realistic with the sci-fi. And I don't think it's a bad thing that Blomkamp doesn't really do much differently as a director this time around. I think that it really helps to make the film funnier. If I do have any complaints about Chappie, is that not all of the acting is really great. I don't think that the members of Die Antwoord are really talented actors. They're kind of more South African cultural icons that happen to make really catchy music. So some good acting, some bad acting, some really cool special effects, some cringy lines, some great jokes. Chappie is a parody of Neil Blomkamp by Neil Blomkamp, probably for Neil Blomkamp, and it makes good political points. The lighthearted nature of Chappie doesn't distract from the serious points it makes about the militarization of the police force, which is especially pertinent in the past year where we've seen a lot of police brutality in America. Chappie does a really great job of breaking up the seriousness of Blomkamp's previous two films, while also being, I wouldn't call it a family movie, but it's kind of like an adult Wall-E. So if you're looking for a movie that is basically every movie you'll want to see this year combined into one, go see Chappie, and it'll make you happy.
Even a robot's a big problem for me.
A thinking robot could be the end of mankind. Destroy that robot. Burn it to ash.
There's something of great danger headed our way now.
My name is Jakob Ross. This has been Film Focus. Thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm Rio Barber, and today we're getting inside the mind of local fashion designer Blake Mccabe. From graffiti get-ups to drag couture, his closet of designs is sure to have something for everyone. We are here with Blake Mccabe today. Thank you so much for being here, Blake. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
It all started back in about 7th grade. My most favorite time period had started out with Titanic. I started mixing like the hat of one outfit with the coat of another and the skirt of a different outfit, starting to style them together. Not even 2 weeks later after graduating high school, I started at Art Institute Seattle for an AA in fashion design. 2013 is when I got the Most Fashion Forward Award for my collection.
And what collection was that?
That collection was men's flared coats, kind of like the 18th century sort of coats. And then they had like punk rocker skinny jeans on with like chains and buttons.
So kind of a mix of Kiss.
Oh yeah, it was a mix of different eras, which was that was a real fun collection.
So many different inspirations for this. Do you have maybe a fashion idol?
Versace is probably my most favorite, especially with the Greek mythology background and things like that.
And for those of you who don't know, Blake was one of the designers for the Everybody fashion show last week here at UW.
I don't want to design the typical men's style that you're going to see all the time.
Yeah, well, I mean, why try to fit in when you're born to stand out,
yeah.
right?
Somewhat inspiration this year's been sort of Lana Del Rey. You know,
yeah.
You have the floral prints on my men's collection to relate to the Everybody fashion show. One of my models was Brian Gula. And he is actually well known as doing some acting with Fifth Avenue Theater. This costume it's not only 15 years old, but it's also the one that was worn by Hugh Jackman all these years ago, which just makes it so special. It's not necessarily the celebrity, but it's this costume that I'm altering has a story. And I think that's what's always the most touching about shopping for vintage and things like that. What's really trendy to this date is DIY, so do it yourself.
We are wearing our jeans today.
Yeah.
You actually made these for the Everybody this year that I got to model.
If you just grab fabric scraps and like sew it onto some jeans that you know, some fabric examples that you really like, then you're gonna be on trend with the patch trend. And you'll have your own like sort of customized pair of jeans. There had been this leftover canvas material that was at Art Institute. She'll be wearing this huge cape and it'll be the canvas without any paint on it. But when she opens it, there's paint and graffiti entirely on the inside of the cape and the dress. The mermaid sort of silhouette, which was also inspired somewhat by Gaga. So it's a reveal at the end of the show.
Very cool. Unexpected. Expect the unexpected.
You got children's, men's, and women's, and those are all very competitive. They're already taken. I thought I would shoot for doing drag queen collection pieces. I'm very close with the drag queen house called the House of Paradisco, and I do lots of their costumes, and they call me Nanny McCabe because
that's awesome.
Sometimes I pull random stuff out of my bag, and so they got the idea. Oh my gosh, she's like Mary Poppins.
Can you describe some of your iconic drag costumes?
We had done a sketch of this gown that would look like total and complete flames. The phoenix had started, burned, turned to ashes, and was reborn again as a phoenix. There was the soda can snake dress. And so, if you can imagine, there's 600 scales, and my mom punched 4 holes in each, so you take 4 times 600, and that's how many holes she punched for me to sew it onto the dress. That was another iconic look as well.
I believe you've done some Disney stuff, right?
I've done my own sort of version of a Maleficent remake.
Okay.
My sort of version of Glenn Close's Cruella. And then there was Tinkerbell for Drew. I also did Mad Madam Mim from The Sword and the Stone.
Oh yeah, you already are starting well off with your fashion career. What is like the ultimate goal for you?
You can't design for money, it's art for art's sake. So I like to say design for design's sake. Well, I don't need to make millions, I don't need to be like completely well known. Just having that sort of inspiration to have a drag queen on the cover of Vogue would be absolutely like my best achievement and goal, I could say.
If you'd like to check out more of Blake's designs or put in a personal order, you can check them up on facebook.com/House of Couture. Until then, I'm Rio Barber. We'll see you next time.
Hi, my name is Julie Lin. Today I'm cooking for Collegi-Ate, and today we're going to be making 4 dishes for freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year. For a freshman dish, we're going to assume that we have access to a microwave and a mini fridge, and we're living in the dorms. And for our senior year, we're going to assume that we have our own apartments and we have access to a full kitchen. Right now I'm heating some oil to make the fried rice. So this is just what I'm using. Fried rice is, again, a really versatile dish, so you can use whatever you want. The carrots first because they take longest to cook. And I'm gonna throw these in now because onions also take a little bit longer to cook. Cook pretty well. We're gonna push them aside. Add our other vegetables, which don't take quite as long to cook. So here's broccoli and green bell peppers. Broccoli and bell peppers are pretty cooked through, so we're gonna push that to the side now. We're gonna add a little bit more oil because we're about to cook the eggs. We're gonna take our 2 eggs and crack them directly into pan. Scramble the eggs in the pan. So now that the eggs are cooked through, I'm going to push them to the side with everything else. And then this is rice that I have already cooked. It's leftover, and which is perfect for fried rice because that's basically why you make fried rice, is because you made too much. And we're going to put that into the pan with everything else. And if your rice is dry, like this is a little bit dry, you can add a teeny bit of water, so maybe like a teaspoon. You can hear that, our soy sauce. It's mostly to give a color to it. Himalayan pink salt, yep. Salt and pepper again. Okay, and there we have our vegetable fried rice with some egg. Yep. I didn't use meat for this dish, but if you are, make sure to cook that first or heat it up first before the veggies. The really cool thing about all these dishes is that they're all pretty versatile. Most of it can be made with stuff that you probably already have in your fridge, or that can be bought on campus with your dining card.
Hi, I'm Starla Sampaco. Earlier this week, I spoke to the Hammockers of UW, which, as you guessed, is a group here on campus of students who like to relax on hammocks. I got to hang out with them, pun intended, so let's check it out. If you ever find yourself walking past a wooded area on campus, you might hear the giggles of college students if you listen closely enough. These students are the Hammockers of UW. As its name suggests, this is a group of students whose main activity is literally hanging out. On hammocks, of course. As STEM majors, these sophomores turn to hammocking as a way to de-stress from academic rigor.
We're all, taking hard, stressful classes, and it's just a really good way to kind of relax. It's incredibly refreshing and just, really nice.
Describe hammocking in one word.
Relaxing.
I think hammocking is pretty relaxing.
Yeah, relaxing.
Relaxing.
Decadent, for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty relaxing in here. They were right, definitely. But hammocking is not always easygoing and fun. As Holben recalls, the use of hammocks can lead to run-ins with campus enforcement.
At the University of Washington, there are places where they don't want people to climb in the trees or slackline or hammock and stuff like that. So we do have to be careful of that, places like the cherry blossoms and stuff like that. That being said, the straps and all the equipment that we use is completely safe for the trees. It doesn't harm them. We're not hanging on super thin trees that are going to break or anything like that. So we are conscious of what we're doing, and we're doing what we can to make sure that it's not having any effects on the trees.
Hi, I'm here with one of the officers, Carly. So tell me, what's your favorite place to hammock on campus or off?
I would say one of my favorite places to hammock would be in the quad. Unfortunately, that is frowned upon because the trees are protected, but pretty much any place where you have the mixture of sun and shade and also a good kind of scene, during the spring in the quad, people out playing frisbee, and it's so peaceful, and it's really fun.
The group is in the process of applying to become an RSO and has recently launched a Facebook page to attract new members.
So our goal as an RSO is to just be able to find other people who have the similar hobby. It's kind of an obscure one, not one that a lot of people, do that much. And so our goal is just to be able to actually create a community of people, just because I know I get really excited when I find out that someone else has a hammock, and it's just, a really fun thing to do with other people.
If you too would like to become a Hammocker of UW, check out the Hammockers of UW Facebook page for more information and updates. From the Daily's Double Shot, I'm Starla Sampaco. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and also check out dailyuw.com for more original content. Thanks for watching.
I'm Christopher Zuthan, and this is the UW Daily Double Shot. Today we're covering hashtag Black Lives Matter, a movement where students will be walking out of class in protest.
Monument is really important. So please, let's listen to Jebediah for a moment. B-I-Y, believe in yourself.
Yeah. So what is this movement called? Can you give us some background information on it, why it's important?
Yeah, it's a staged walkout. The students are in protest of several different things that have been happening traditionally in this country for a while, racism, classism, all of the things, but in particular, in light of the recent events, the murdering of young African-American males and Latino males in this country. So it's kind of hit a boiling point.
Had a walkout protest against the institutionalized racism that we've seen and police brutality, as well as kind of the political dynamic and inequality that really kind of plays out and disfranchises black people or people of color here in the United States.
And basically it's coming together, a group of students talking about issues in regards to the black community and other communities and the minority communities.
Really inspired to be here today supporting the effort for Black Lives Matter and supporting the students who are making this happen.
So they're going around, and after collaborating with different groups, they've provided a unique list of demands for different departments. So for us, we provided demands to the ASU UW. There's things for the law school on campus, each talking about how diversity needs to be more incorporated and black students need to be better represented and supported here.
I'm impressed with what people are doing here. That's great. There's awareness of, what's happened to the African community since they've, been here. My point is I wanted to draw attention to all groups matter, whether they're from the Middle East or from Europe or from Africa. I feel like that we need to pay attention to more of these things,
And people are, they want to be heard,
This block is more than just a block. This is a symbol of those who came before us, who I thought back to slave days, auction block, everything's being sold. Who can't feel that struggle? Black, Latino, Asian, gay, Pacific Islander, disabled. Who can't feel that struggle of having to sell yourself because of your inhibit or the things that institutionally could hold us back? Skin color, right?
It's gonna be hard, but we can't give up. Gotta remember the people who are in the future looking to us as their role models. So we gotta do it strategically from the top down, with pressuring our legislators, working on the ground level, and we can make this happen. Don't give up the fight.
I hope at the very least we us gain allies, folks who understand that this is not just it's labeled Black Lives Matter, but really it's your life matters. It's women lives matter, Latino lives matter, everybody lives matter, right? So we gotta figure out how we can coexist together and really start breaking down the institutions that have traditionally held folks out for so long. So that's really what I think would be great to gain out of this,
Well, that's all the content we've got for you tonight. And it being 1 week from spring break, I would like to say happy spring break, and we'll see you next quarter. In the meantime, you can check us out online at dailyuw.com/doubleshot or on our YouTube channel, Daily UW. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on the Daily's Double Shot.